Okay, so this is a small log on what I think about design in India. And I mean, I don't have a perspective of design for the whole country, but at least design education in India and how I have seen it in the time I've been doing my course, as well as like me talking to the people who I meet in the particular field over these 4 years. So whatever that has happened, so one thing that keeps coming back over at least the past 2 years is why don't we at least don't have any celebrity designers in India? And there are some big names, yeah, I do agree, but I don't think like we have the mass acknowledgement for them. Like generally, it would be ideal for them to have, or it would be nicer to have more than ideal. So that is the question where things started off. And like tracking back lately, when I did visit my college as well, like I was able to see it from a broader perspective than I was there as a student. So one thing that keeps on happening in design colleges in India, in more or less, I see most of the people, for them it becomes a cycle of assignments and submissions. So yeah, you have these different courses that you're doing, and like different courses are gonna teach you like something new to start with. But in general, like it falls into a very like idiotic space where it's just about making a assignment. So often I see myself like in hindsight, as well as like the kids I see right now, like they come to college, do the assignment or like the work towards the assignment, and they get back and it's switched off. There is no part of design that's being discussed, no part of design conscious that's been thought of. um, and even the information you get from the faculties, right? Like I mean, I'm not saying it's bad. I'm saying like a person can't just like compress all the things that exist out there and then give it to you in the shortest periods of time. It's too unfair to expect out of that person as well. So from the faculty side also, you can't really expect a lot of this design consciousness related information coming to the students. So on the student side, like it's just assignments and they have to take efforts to do these things, and more or most of the time as a student you don't see what's the point of this, because nobody really talks about it apart from suggesting as a suggestion, maybe like go look up designers, go look up what's the design movements that's been going on and all these things. So I feel like nobody really cares for it in general because of the space and like what kind of habits it creates. And I feel like it generates a lot of designers who are completely oblivious to the things that I feel are like very basic for designers to know. And I am not an exclusion to this rule myself. Like I feel like at least in the past times, like trying to look up more about design content and design like elements and things and topics of discussion movements that have happened, I realize how oblivious I am, that even myself, like I don't know like some of the major designers that have like changed the industry in India itself. So even like it's a basic thing, right? When you're in working in a field and you're very passionate about that field, the minimum expectation is that somebody, like you're working towards like somebody who's sort of like a role model or like a benchmark for yourself. And often in college, like the benchmark was like the seniors, like who had the most salary package getting out of college, or who had the most cool sounding job getting out of college. But even that senior mark is not like, oh, in this college's history this is the senior. It's more like, in the 2 3 years we've been here, who's the person we have seen, and which one's the most achieved out of them all. So that is a pretty low benchmark, I would say. Not to diss on them, but like I feel like we're just like removing a big set of sample set. We are just like neglecting it. A sample set, I would even say, like which might like be a better scale in most scenarios as well. So yeah, don't even know names, don't even know about a lot of things. So I think we need to start looking at like learning about this. It's a very easier thing to be said. Some of the content are like openly out there as like design books, and I'm grateful to be in an environment where I have access to them. And in college I didn't really take care of, at least like take advantage of me having that sort of a facility. But I hope currently in the place I am, I think I'll be able to take advantage of that, start learning more. And a lot of us, at least like my friends, like the pitfall that we fall into is something also that I've seen is we use social media sites like Instagram to kind of like get this part of the knowledge about like following different designers across the globe, like people who we like, people who are doing some cool things that we hopefully like to do ourselves. But the problem is that platform, it's not a focused platform for that particular purpose. At least that's what I've come to realize more and more now. Even though I'm following like hundreds and like thousands of creators there and designers there, it's gonna be muddled with like the other forms of things that I use the same platform for, like just to check up on friends, like maybe just to watch some memes and then like get some like doze off for a little while. So it gets muddled in between these contents, and sometime when you go there just for like 5 minutes of break, even if you see a designer's work, sometimes I would just like scroll past it and then like try to look for a meme or something. So in that case, it's not really functioning as the thing that I'm hoping it would. And I'm just like making myself believe that I'm getting this knowledge without actually putting any sort of effort into it. So I think there should be, apart from books and apart from social media for sure, I think social media should be negated out of the source. I think there should be some other way I can start building up like a network for this design content reaching me. Like I'm not just talking about like what has happened before, but what's currently happening, what are people updating about. So I have little ideas on how to go about it, but it's still unfigured out. Like so, I mean, it's pretty expected. Like, but I'm guessing some of it would have to involve me keep picking up like the portfolio sites or like their personal design showcase websites, and then collecting into a database, and creating a sort of a database for all those things. But how I'm gonna access it is one more of a question. How I'm gonna keep up with it is another question, because now there is no social media that's helping me. It's just me having to consciously go and click on it and look up for what's new. So that's the thing. So hopefully right now I can start it off as a database. Hopefully I can share it with people, and like they also start adding without like murking the quality of the content out there. But yeah, I think that is something that is essential, that I need to move out of like social media's like court for my design knowledge. So I'm looking for other options and like other sites, like some of them exist as well. Uh, but something much more concentrated, something much more focused to what I want to know, and a place and a process where it'll lead me to the designers in particular, getting to see it on a much more personal level rather than just looking at like one render and then just swiping away, going through their process and all those things. So hopefully, like the whole point of it, it creates more consciousness, it gives you more reference points on where to start and like where to aim for. And I mean, that in itself is a good reason to start up. Uh, there are other good things that it can provide, but like there's no point in listing it out because the benefits are pretty much clear. It's just that you need to start it off and you need some sort of motivation, so you're listing it out. But I think these are good enough motivations for me to start it out. And yeah, database is one particular thing that I'm looking forward to. Start collecting people's names, start collecting like different research centers, different sites where design is showcased. Uh, yeah, hopefully that'll be to a much better benefit than like just hoping Instagram will do it for me. So, yeah.